Hi YouTube, welcome back to Wtf Rc Cars. So we got a few changes what have happened to the channel. We got some lights, some weird little LEDs. I've got a different mic on the camera, so you'll have to let me know how audio sounds on this one. Looking to try and improve it. There was a bit of background noise and it tended to sound a bit hollow, but we're trying as best. First off, big thanks to all the subscribers. We've just cleared 1,600 subscribers. I think this will be around the 252nd video we've made. So thanks for helping out along the way, and if it weren't for subscribers there'd be no point doing videos. So hopefully you carry on finding these entertaining at least, or useful, or both. And I'd just like to say a big thanks to some of the manufacturers and suppliers that have helped us on the way. We've got FlySky, Ludicrous have sent out the lipos, and I believe we've got some stuff coming in from HVGA Rc. I think they're sending gyro and servos maybe, so keep subscribed and keep the notifications on so you know when that video is coming up. But let's crack on with this video. So, hoping to move a bit closer to completion with what we're doing to this one. So what I'm looking to do now is swap the... We've swapped the steering servo and the throttle servo. So now I'm looking to upgrade the forward and reverse servo. Seems though we've had some of the little servos fail in the TR-4, and I believe they're exactly the same servo in this. So we've swapped the other servos, might as well swap that out. And again, we're going for a TR-4 from Power HD. From fitting these in the TR-4, they are night and day difference compared to the quality of the Traxxas ones. And they're really not that expensive. I think I've got some links to these in description below. But you can get these all over the world. You can get them AliExpress if you want them dirt cheap and you don't mind waiting a bit. Bang good. You can also get them in most local hobby stores. They're kind of the best little micro servos that I've come across. Bang for buck. But right, let's get you a close-up on this one so you can see what I'm actually doing, and we'll crack on with trying to swap this servo out. Right, so currently attempting all different approaches to this, so you'll have to let me know what kind of angle is the best for you guys to see what I'm actually doing. So, first things first, we're going to have to get the electronic box covers off so we can actually get into what we need. And then it's this servo that we're going to be after. So now this is one that's going to be a little complicated because I don't believe on the Traxxas radio gear there is any room for changing the endpoints on these little micros, and it's one of the reasons why you see a lot of these really sort of overly springy servo saver and servo connection links. Basically, because you can't set the endpoints, they have to build in an awful lot of play, but it's also what burns these tiny little micros out. They're not very nice servos, these, in all honesty. I don't think they'd take much above 6 volt, 5 or 6 volt at max, and the plastic gears in them are so weak. And the actual servos, they not that you need a huge amount of kilogram of power to move these like forward and reverse gear or the diff locks on the TR-4, but they are extremely weak servos. So once we've removed the 2 screws, we should just be able to pry it up. And again, I need to do a little bit of investigation work on these servos because I'm not exactly sure what's in there. I don't know if that is a choke for interference or if it's a resistor block to drop the voltage down to them. But let's see where this one's plugged in. So it looks like it's that one, and I believe it comes through into the OptiDrive, yeah, shift out. So it's this bottom one that you're going to want to unplug, and if you make a mental note of it, the signal wire goes to the top. I'm not entirely sure which way we're going to go with this Revo 3.3. Whether I leave the OptiDrive in and the reverse, or whether we strip the reverse altogether, or just take the OptiDrive out, because I'm not going to accidentally put it into reverse, which is what the OptiDrive's for. Stops you selecting reverse or forward while the vehicle's still moving. And from what I've read, apparently the OptiDrive draws quite a lot of power, so it will make your receiver battery go flat quicker. So let's have a look what room we've got to fit this. So the Traxxas servo, the output cable is right on the bottom, and these TR-4 ones, it's right on the corner, so you can very carefully just move the cable. So basically that's the way the servo was sat. So we're going to try and copy that. And try and fold the servo wire underneath, see if we've got enough room to sit the servo down that way. And we've definitely got plenty of servo cable, so whichever way you want to route this to keep it out the way of all the linkages will be absolutely fine. It's not like you're going to be struggling for servo cable length. And then you just want to sit the cable back in these two little cable retainers. And then, easier said than done, but try and find somewhere into the receiver box where you've got enough space, because it is extremely cramped in here. And then if we look on the TR-4, your white signal cable, so that wants to go to the top. And you should be able to just shove it back into the shift port. So shift out channel 3. Keep all these tidy, and you don't want to get them trapped on anywhere. Right, so let's get the receiver box cover on and see if we can keep this rat nest of wires tidy. And just a tip for you, what I find helpful with this is if you put it in from the outside in, because what I've done in the past is popped it in that way, and then when I've had the lid on car and picked it up, you tend to push it off and it flies off and gets lost in grass. So we're going to want to put our screws back in. Now I'm not sure if these servos sit any higher than the stock one. And just make a mental note of when you're screwing these in, you are screwing into plastic, so if you're too heavy-handed with it, you're going to run a risk of damaging the threads. So there's not a lot of stress on this servo, so you just want to go gentle with it. Right, next thing, we're going to need to power the transmitter up. Right, so what we're going to want to do is power the Revo up, power on the transmitter, and then you've got your switch. So if you look at the position where you switch it, we're looking for all the way out So on this, it's switch in the up position, and then you want this pulled all the way out, and then we're going to try and find a position where this servo's happy. So if we just pop it on and then switch it in, now that to me looks like there's way too much travel on this servo. So let's see if we can just move it out a little bit. Now, I still think there's too much travel on that servo. So what I'm going to do is move the servo arm to the closer position, just to see if we can take a bit of that travel off. Because as I say, on the Traxxas radio gear, I don't believe there is any adjustment for the micro servo. That still looks like it's got a lot of travel on it. So that's as far out as we're going to be able to get it. Let's see how much stress is on it. Yeah, there's not that much stress on it. So if you move it to the outermost position, and then you want this servo arm so it's as far out as you can get it, move it to the inner link, which reduces the amount of travel, and that is about as good as we're going to be able to get it. And it's only pushing against the spring, but it is actuating it and deactuating first and second gear, so we won't have any problems with shifting. Now let's see if the stock screw fits. Yep, so the stock screw fits perfect. And we've got full travel in both directions, and I can't hear the servo straining, and if you look it can push slightly further because it's still on the spring, so I think we should be safe on that one. Right, let's see if the cover fits still, because that was my only other concern with these. Weren't sure if this servo were any taller. No, looks like we're going to be absolutely fine with that. So, should be good to refit the air filter. Just be careful not to knock any of the crud and everything back in, if you've got any dirt and debris kicking around on it. Right, so that is our forward and reverse servo swapped. Now, it does open up a few other options here. We've got servos that can take 7.4 volt, but the stock Traxxas radio gear and the OptiDrive system and the sensors, probably not much of a 6 volt. I've never tried them, but... So, what we're going to be doing next is swapping it to the Flysky MB4, I believe. And then I think I'll probably look to remove the OptiDrive. You can leave it in when you change the receiver. I've done it before on Traxxas vehicles. But the OptiDrive is just draining power, and I know sometimes they can be a bit finicky where they won't select reverse depending on if the RPM at motors set a bit high. As long as you're not moving forward or backwards when you change the forward and reverse, you're not going to do any damage to the vehicle. But let's wrap this one up. Right, so there you have it. Slowly changing the setup of the Revo. It's going to be interesting to see how different it drives when we've finished all this. But hopefully you've enjoyed that and somebody finds it useful or entertaining at least. But thanks again for watching Wtf Rc Cars. Hope audio's a bit better. If you like this kind of video, like and subscribe. And I'll catch you guys again in the next one.